two things just happened in autonomous driving. First, Tesla's FSD Supervised has started to win regulatory approval country by country in Europe. The Netherlands moved first, and on May 29, 2026, Estonia recognized the Dutch type approval. The key point is that this is country-by-country progress, not a single European Union-wide green light. Second, the signal around FSD in China is getting stronger, but it is not a full national rollout yet. It is moving through the regulatory and localization channel. Right now, the limited trials still have to adapt to local data rules, mapping rules, and final safety certification. So the real question is this: why does China not simply keep FSD out? Is it because Chinese autonomous driving is weak? Or is it the opposite? Has China reached the point where it is no longer afraid to compete with Tesla on the same field? In this episode, we are not going to trade slogans. We will break it down from first principles. What Tesla is good at, what China is good at, and what this competition is really testing. Start with the facts, because this topic gets distorted very easily. In Europe, the Dutch Vehicle Authority RDW approved FSD Supervised on April 10, 2026, under United Nations Regulation Number 171. Other countries have started to follow. On May 29, 2026, Estonia recognized the Dutch type approval, but this does not mean all of Europe opened overnight. The more accurate statement is, Europe is being won one country at a time. Also remember this: FSD Supervised is Level 2 driver assistance. The human driver remains responsible. It is not driverless autonomy. That distinction is why regulators can approve it at all. In China, Tesla has to localize around Chinese data and mapping rules. That includes connecting with Baidu's map and navigation capabilities. In China, foreign automakers cannot simply collect mapping and road data however they want. Even with those adjustments, the system is still in limited testing and waiting for final certification. So the cleanest statement is this: FSD is knocking on China's door and entering the regulatory channel, but it has not fully landed yet. Not one word more. If Chinese autonomous driving were truly weak, the easiest move would be to keep FSD outside forever. But that is not what China is doing. China is allowing a limited entry. There are two layers behind that decision. The first is confidence. If you are willing to let the global benchmark onto your home field, it usually means your local players have already caught up enough to withstand the comparison. The second layer is leverage. Letting Tesla in on a limited basis pressure tests domestic players, while also creating bargaining chips for Chinese electric vehicles and autonomous driving technology entering Western markets. This is not just speculation. The XPeng and Volkswagen partnership is the clearest example of that reciprocal route. Think one level deeper. Whether a regulator is willing to let the benchmark in is itself a signal. Blocking it suggests insecurity, letting it in suggests confidence. So the real danger is not simply, Tesla is coming. The real danger is the consensus that almost everyone already accepts. China cannot solve autonomous driving. When a consensus becomes too stable and too unanimous, it is often already wrong. That is the first principle for looking at any technology race. Consensus itself is risk. Now strip away the slogans. Tesla's advantage and China's advantage are not the same kind of advantage. What is Tesla good at? First, an end-to-end data flywheel. Millions of cars on real roads send data back, and the model keeps improving. That scale is extremely hard to copy. The more data Tesla has, the better the model becomes. The better the car becomes, the more cars it sells. The more cars it sells, the more data it collects. That is a positive feedback loop. Second, Tesla has vertical integration. From chips to models, the stack is integrated with fewer metal layers. It is still the global benchmark, and there is no reason to pretend otherwise. What is China good at? First, scene density. China's cut-ins, scooters, complex intersections, and messy urban traffic are one of the harshest training environments in the world. A system that works there may generalize more easily to more orderly European roads. Second, supply chain and cost. LiDAR, domain controllers, and full perception stacks have been pushed down to extremely low cost. That lets advanced driver assistance move into much cheaper cars. Adoption speed itself becomes a data flywheel. The faster cars spread, the faster data comes back. Third, China still leans heavily on multi-sensor redundancy. Vision plus LiDAR gives another layer of insurance in edge cases. In one sentence, Tesla wins through data and software elegance. China wins through brutal real-world scenes and supply chain force. These are two different first-principle advantages. This is not a simple story of one side crushing the other. Now zoom out. Autonomous driving is not just a car learning to drive itself. It is physical AI. It is the first large-scale deployment of artificial intelligence in the physical world. A system that can perceive, decide, and act in the real world starts with cars today. Tomorrow, the same architecture can move into robotaxis, humanoid robots, and factory automation. In other words, whoever solves the perception decision-action loop and the data flywheel in autonomous driving gets a ticket into the broader embodied AI era. The car is only the first domino. That is why the stakes between the United States and China go far beyond vehicle sales. The real question is who defines the next decade of physical world AI standards and supply chains. Once you understand that, you understand why regulators are so cautious. They are not guarding one driving feature. They are guarding the entrance to an entire industrial stack. On the Chinese side, there are three very different paths. We should understand them as business models, not as stock recommendations. Huawei is the most stable system-level player. It is not just selling an algorithm, and packages chips, algorithms, cockpit software, and vehicle electronics into a full solution for automakers. That system integration is its deepest moat. The more car makers want a turnkey solution, the harder it is to avoid Huawei. Horizon Robotics is the classic pick sand shovels player. In a gold rush, the most stable money is often made by selling the tools. Horizon sells automotive-grade intelligent driving chips and solutions. If advanced driver assistance keeps moving down into lower-priced Chinese cars, its tools keep getting buyers. It does not need to bet on one automaker winning. It is betting on the whole industry becoming more intelligent. The most interesting structural story, though, is XPeng. XPeng's real opportunity is not only selling cars in China. Through its partnership with Volkswagen, it may be able to put Chinese autonomous driving capability into a framework that European regulators can accept. Picture this. Tesla's FSD has to fight through European approval country by country. But if a Chinese company's technology can enter Europe through a local giant like Volkswagen in a format that fits European rules, then it is exporting more than a driver assistance function. It is exporting a Chinese physical AI technology template. Whether that route works will depend on regulation and execution, but it is the most imaginative hidden line in this whole chessboard. And a serious framework also has to ask what could break each path. Tesla's risk is the long tail of pure vision in extreme weather and extreme scenarios, plus the possibility that European regulators move unevenly. The Netherlands can approve something without Germany, France, or Italy moving at the same speed. Huawei's risk is that automakers may want to control the soul of the vehicle themselves, weakening the pricing power of a system-level supplier. Horizon Robotics faces the risk of a compute arms race. If high-end intelligent driving suddenly requires much larger chips, lower-end picks and shovels could be skipped. The XPeng Volkswagen export template risk is more direct. Geopolitics and data compliance. Chinese AI technology entering Europe can run into data sovereignty and trade barriers at any moment, so none of these paths is guaranteed. The only thing we can do is watch the falsifiable signals and update as the data changes. My view comes down to 3 sentences. Tesla is still the global benchmark in autonomous driving. Huawei is China's most stable system-level player. Horizon Robotics may benefit from industry-wide adoption, and the most important structural story to watch is XPeng. The XPeng's partnership with Volkswagen is essentially an attempt to place Chinese autonomous driving capability inside a system European regulators can accept. If it works, what gets exported is not just a feature. It is a Chinese physical AI technology template. So why is China not afraid of FSD entering? Because this competition is no longer about whether Chinese autonomous driving works. It is about which path wins. We are not making stock calls, and we are not predicting share prices. We are simply laying out how to think about this through data and first principles. If this was useful, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.